Star 94.1.
Hey friends, it's me, Alyssa, and I am back with Live and Local Atlanta. I'm here with my super entertaining, super talented, amazing friend, actress, comedian, improviser, voiceover star. I'm here with Amber Nash to talk about How to Ruin the Holidays. It is your film debut, and it was actually filmed here in Atlanta. That is so exciting. Thank you for joining me. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great.
I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and talk about How to Ruin the Holidays. It's actually got a really great cast. Of course, you're in it. You star alongside with Colin Mockery, and I'm sure you two together are so fun. I'm picturing his style of comedy. I'm picturing your style of comedy. You guys will be fire on screen. I'm so excited to be able to check it out. Can you give us a little bit of a teaser about what the movie's about?
Yeah, so it's about a struggling comedian that lives in LA. She hasn't been home for the holidays in many years, and she finally gets kind of strong-armed into going home, and it's a mess, as usual, when she goes home, and she doesn't know exactly what to do, and should she choose family or should she choose her career, and the family's kind of falling apart. Her dad is like a doomsday prepper, and just kind of like, they're like, is he all there? And she's got a brother with special needs, and so that's a part of the family dynamic, and it's like, can dad continue to take care of him? And so there's just a lot going on, and so she dives right in, and we see the hilarity ensue as they try to figure it out.
And I truly love that. I think there are so many movies out there, but there's not a lot of movies that are really just touching your heart. They make you laugh anymore. And I'm so glad you've put together and you were able to be in a project that is lighthearted. It makes people feel good, and it shows a family, and it's family friendly, and it really just shows life as we know it, and essentially. So I truly love that. And you know, I wanted to talk about a little bit. It was obviously filmed in Atlanta, right here in your backyard, essentially. You've got a long history with the city, with Dad's Garage.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that before we even dive into anything else, because I recently was watching a conversation you had, and you were talking about Dad's Garage and kind of how it kickstarted your career. And you even said accidentally, like you just kind of fell into it. So I love hearing stories like this.
Yeah. So I went to Georgia State, and I got a degree in psychology, and I had a friend of mine that was like, hey, have you heard of this thing called improv? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't really know anything about it. And so he took me to see a show at Whole World Theater. And so that was my kind of first time seeing improv on stage, and it blew my mind, and I was like, what are they doing? I want to do this. And so I took classes there, and I was with Laughing Matters for many years, and then I found Dad's Garage, and I'm still there. I'm still a company member at Dad's Garage, and yeah, it was kind of like what I needed to balance out what I was studying in school. And then after I got my degree, I got a job, like a real job, not as an artist. And I did that for a while, and there was always this tug, and I loved what I was doing when I was on stage. And so I was like, could I do this full time? And so I took a leap of faith, and I was very broke for a long time, and kind of scrounged together a living, and worked at Dad's Garage for many years, and worked on the staff, and did a lot of teaching. And yeah, so that's kind of how my career as an artist started.
I love hearing stories like this, especially like those leap of faith stories where you just go and you're like, I got to bet on myself. And I think it speaks to your character and your tenacity. And this is such a hard industry to be in. It really truly is. Especially in this day and age, I think comedy is so hard to be in. It's so hard to find your groove and, you know, what people are going to like. And so I really, truly love hearing stories like that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it was through Dad's Garage. You kind of got your start with Archer, is that right? Yeah, so we were making comedy in Inman Park, and one of our improvisers was an animator for, it was 70/30 at the time, the production company, and they were doing cartoons for Adult Swim. And so we knew the guys that worked there, and because we had Christian in common, and so they'd come see shows, and they just needed somebody to do like a
it was a teenage girl's voice, and I auditioned for it, and I was terribly wrong for it, and I didn't get that, but they brought me in to do other stuff, and then I just kept working for them because they could call me and I'd just show up and in 10 minutes and do a voice and then leave. It was pretty fantastic. And then when Archer came along, I didn't even audition for it. They just were like, do you want to do the show? And I was like, yes, I want to do anything. I'm just trying to work, you know? And I was lucky enough that I got to stay on and did the pilot episode and then did all 14 seasons.
And it's really such a fun show. I've seen episodes, and it's like every time I'm like, oh, this is just so unique and it's so different, and it makes you look at things differently. And I loved watching the episodes I was able to like be into and watch, because I feel like at the time, especially, streaming was not really a thing, so you had to be locked in and ready to go when the show is ready. So back in the day, back before everything was at the touch of our fingers, and I think shows like that really know how to captivate an audience, and that's what brings people in and keeps them locked in for so many years and season after season. Now, I want to talk about how you transitioned from voiceover acting into the whole shebang, your real face and everything. Yeah. What was the story there? How did you transition?
Gosh, so I'd been doing theater the whole time, and then I was doing voice work, and that was kind of paying the bills. That was my job. And then about, I think it was like 2014, my husband, who was the artistic director at Dad's Garage, Kevin Gleese, him and his partner, a comedy partner that he'd come up with, Arlen Konopacki, had just graduated from NYU film school, and they'd written a bunch together, and I was like, would you guys write me something that we can do on camera where I get to play a bunch of characters? And so they did, and we made a web series called Heart of America where I play like the 4 main characters. And so that was our first kind of thing that we shot together working as a group, and then that led to a short film, and then that led to How to Ruin the Holidays. So it started in like 2014, and it took us that long to get to making a feature-length film, because it is so much work. It's so much work and so much harder than doing theater, and that's where we had come from, Kevin and I. So that's how we finally got to making a feature film.
I love that. Can we talk about the mind space you had to play 4 characters? What was that about? Because I like to think I can act. I mean, in my head, I think I can act. I think I could do anything in my head.
Sure.
But the fact that you not only were able to really sit there and play one person, but basically 4 people, how did you prepare yourself for that?
It was so much fun. Like, that's my dream. If I could do that for a living every day, where I'd go to work and play 4 characters, I would. Because I had my improv background, that's what I was so used to doing. I mean, in a regular improv show, I could play 20 characters. So having costume and makeup and the set and all the things that you have when you're shooting something, it really supports all the character choices that you make. So I was ready for it. Like, I'd been waiting my whole life to do something like that. So it was really, really fun. I had to make sure they all sounded really different. One was like an old man. Like, they were all very different. There was a lot of prosthetics. I played a grandma that was pretty elderly, and so I had a lot of like facial stuff, skin and stuff. It was so much fun to do.
Oh, that is so fun. And really, I think a lot of people just don't realize the amount of like talent and intensity goes into that. So I think that's just so exciting. Now, I do want to circle back to How to Ruin the Holidays. I want to let people know, where can they see it? How long is it going to be on theaters?
Yeah.
So that way they can really just take advantage of this really great lighthearted movie.
Yeah, totally. So we're really lucky that we're playing at the Plaza Theater that's right on Ponce. It's the historic Plaza Theater. It's such a great place to see a movie. We're playing there until December 7th, and we got extended till the 7th. So we might get extended again if we get lucky. So you can see it at the Plaza, and then in December it will be streaming. We're not exactly sure all the places it's going to be yet, and so you can go to howtoruintheholidaysmovie.com, and it'll all be listed there, so you can go there and find out where it's on demand or where it's streaming, and you can find it in your market.
Oh, that is so fun, so wonderful. I want to circle around a little bit. You're obviously native to Atlanta. I want to just ask you, what's your favorite place to go in Atlanta?
Oh, I have so many places that I love. I love dive bars. One of my favorites is the Yacht Club in Little Five Points. I've been there for years. I've been going there for so long. I love the Claremont Lounge, I have to admit. It's one of my favorite places in Atlanta. And I am a Southern gal, so I do every once in a while love to go to Mary Mac's and get like a big old Southern meal. Yeah.
Mary Max, Mary Max. It's been a very long time since I've been there, but yeah, you can get some good food there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say is your favorite food spot for sure outside of Mary Max? I know you just listed that, but where's your favorite go-to quick? Oh, I just want something fast.
I have to say Slutty Vegan is so good. I'm vegan now. I've been vegetarian for many, many years, and there's 2 locations. There might even be more, and there's Bar Vegan that's in Ponce City Market, and you can't go wrong because you can get a big sloppy burger, but it's totally animal friendly and vegan.
Yes, yes. What would you say was kind of the turning point from vegetarianism to veganism?
It was actually the pandemic. It was the pandemic, and I also am on the board of directors of a chimpanzee sanctuary.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah, in North Georgia. It's called Project Chimps, and because they're an animal organization, they are a vegan organization, and so whenever we have board meetings or we do anything as a group, everything's vegan, so all the meals are vegan, and so I kind of was just like around it more, and I was like, I think I can do this, let me try, and then I had to kind of relearn how to cook some of my favorite meals, and so that was the real push that took me straight into veganism. Yeah,
I'm so terrified of like chimpanzees and apes and monkeys. How are you like around these animals? Like, what's the experience like?
Yeah, so these animals were all retired from research. So they had lived in labs their whole life, which is super sad. But it became illegal to do research on chimpanzees in 2016. So there was all these chimps in labs all over the world that needed a place to go. And so this sanctuary is like a big open, like, acreage where they can run and do their thing and be chimps, but then they have villas that they live in, so they go into the villas at night and they sleep there overnight, and then they go back out during the day. And so they're even with their caregivers, their caregivers aren't ever with the chimps because chimps are like big, violent. It's you know, it's good to be scared of them because they can hurt you, and they don't need to be you know, around people all the time. We think that it's like, oh, can I cuddle a chimp? And it's like, no, they need to be able to live with other chimps in the wild like they should be able to. And so there at Project Chimps, you don't have any interaction with the chimps, so you can see them and you can see them living their beautiful life, but you don't get anywhere close to them really.
I love that. I love animals. I love, you know, nature and how great our world works. It's just, it's all interconnected in so many different ways. And really, when I saw that, I had to at least ask you how all of that works. Because like I said, I am hugely terrified of monkeys, apes, chimpanzees, like all of them.
And they're loud. Like they are big and loud, and that's how they communicate, and that's how they show dominance. Like it's really interesting to watch them.
Yes, I will say I watched Planet of the Apes, the original ones, and I was like, okay. But it's the new ones with all the CGI technology that reestablishes my fear for real. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think you're so brave for doing that, because you couldn't even, like when I go to the zoo, if I go to Zoo Atlanta, you could not pay me money to stop and look at like the monkey exhibits. Like,
I feel like you don't hear that very often. People are usually more scared of like a lion or, you know, but never chimps.
No, I don't know. They freak me out. There's just something about them. I'm like, at any moment, because people think because they look so similar to us, or they're so funny, or they play with fruit or whatever, but just like that, they can turn on you. Any animal can do that, but really, just like that. So I think it's so cool that you have a place for them, and they're able to just kind of live out the rest of their years in happiness. And I think that's so incredible. Amber, I got to wrap it up. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I do want to ask, is there anything else you want people to know about how to ruin the holidays, or anything about the holiday season in general? Oh,
gosh. I mean, we are so excited to get this movie out. We can't wait for people to see it. Watch it with your family, but it is, you know, there's some racy, raunchy stuff. So watch it with your family that's old enough to watch it, and that's into that kind of thing. And also, you can check out Dad's Garage for lots of holiday programming. There's always cool stuff going on there. I'm doing a show called Y'allmark at the Horizon Theater through Dad's Garage. So just, you know, check me out online.
I love it. How can people find you online?
Yeah, Amber, at Amber C. Nash on Instagram and Twitter. Perfect. Or X, or whatever it's called now.
Twitter,
but, what is it?
X, Twitter, whatever. We know where to go. We know how to find you. We know where to go. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Live and Local Atlanta. I am Alyssa. And of course, if you want to get exclusive conversations just like this one with Amber, you need to download the free Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY inside the App Store. Once it's downloaded, you need to go ahead and favorite Star 94 Atlanta. You can also follow Star 94 Atlanta across all social media at Star 94 Atlanta. And if you want to stay up to date with me, you can give me a follow at itsme_Alyssa D. I'll see you next time.
Star 94.1.